How fast, in your opinion, somebody can become a millionaire if he decides to open a roofing company today?
Every single day you got to get up and go, well, those were yesterday's sales. I need today's sales.
What's the last time somebody stole from you?
Woke up the next morning, excruciating pain, went into a different doctor. 2 seconds looking at a microscope, he said, you got a huge problem.
Why did you decide to get out of the roofing industry?
Mostly just because I was on the road a lot. The way I was running operations for a bigger roofing company and sales teams all over the country, production, we ran it all from one central location, but you still got to go out to different offices all over the country, and it was just, to be honest, it was really hard on my family to be gone for so many days a week.
Would you say it wore you down?
Yeah, I mean, you're in the industry, right? I think what wears you down is, obviously there's the way we did it was all about storm, so we are always looking for the next storm, always chasing the next storm. At one point in time, we just had a ton of sales reps, across the country, upwards of 300, and so you're dealing with all those people, trying to chase into a storm. The storm isn't there, trying to make something out of nothing. It's always kind of a rat race.
What's the last time somebody stole from you?
Recently, just personally, I had a guy who was supposed to do a project at my house and supposed to do a concrete driveway, and I paid for the concrete up front, and he poured about half of it, did a terrible job, and just left.
So
That's
you got
probably
scammed?
the closest thing. Yeah, probably just scammed.
Bad work.
Bad work. I think the guy ultimately got in over his head.
Didn't know what he was doing.
Guys didn't show up that were supposed to be who was supposed to be doing the work. He made an attempt at it. It went south. He split, and now he's not returning my calls.
What about business? What's the last time somebody stole from you in business?
So our restoration company had a client who got paid a sizable amount from their insurance company, and as we finished the project, came to a close, he wanted to keep some of that money for himself, and so he did.
Grant Cardone or Gary Vee?
Gary Vee. Maybe a little bit of both in some ways. Gary Vee is inspirational to humans, is how I look at him. Obviously, if you want to be an entrepreneur, all those things too, but I feel like he's not slamming money in your face and enticing you with just money, which there's tons of motivation with that, and there's a place for that. I think whether you like Grant or not, which I do like Grant, there's nothing that way, but it's all money, 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 money. When you've been around that a lot, it doesn't do maybe as much for you, but it kind of hits you in a little different way. Versus Gary is just raw, right to it, and kind of gives you something to think on a little different level. Plus, I just like his personality.
On your website, you tell the story about your dad. He was a jack of all trades, master of none, and then at the same sentence you're trying to describe yourself, how you're trying to be an entrepreneur, and it translates into word push for you. Don't you feel like you're trying to do the same thing your dad did, like trying to be a master of all trade, because you have 4 or 5 businesses now? Do you ever feel like you're spreading yourself too thin?
So I think one, you don't have 4 or 5 businesses overnight, right? And they didn't all just start all overnight, and now I'm going a million different directions. And trying to build one to a point where it's got a system and process that can be run, operated by others. Needs your input, needs your you personally at some point, but then you start that next venture. Sometimes though the whole spread too thin thing can happen as maybe you're required to help growth on one of those other businesses or something like that. But yeah, it does, it plays in all of our lives. Isn't that what being an entrepreneur is? A little bit, right? You are going to spread yourself thin, and you're just trying to make it. You're trying to make as much as you can.
What happened to your eye?
Well, so I'll give you the shortened version. I was framing a house, and one of my guys was up finishing up. He nailed a truss to the wrong side of a wall. We were all down for lunch. I'm like, dude, come on, we got to go. It's lunchtime. He nailed the truss to the wrong side of the X, so we were coming back after lunch to sheet it. So I hopped up and said, you know, we got to get this thing fixed. Grabbed a hammerhead to hammerhead, piece of metal went right in my eye. Didn't know that at the time. I was down in Rochester, went to Mayo Clinic, and I guess there was some older people getting eye exams that day, and they just thought they'd put some dye in there and see if it changed color. It didn't change color, which that would tell them there's metal in there. It didn't change color, so they said there's no metal in there. Put a little salve on it, sent me home. Woke up the next morning, excruciating pain. Went into a different doctor. 2 seconds looking at a microscope, he said, you got a huge problem. You got a huge piece of metal in your eye, and I think it brought in an infection. So the infection killed my eye, and yeah, so I ended up having to.
So do you only see with one?
Yep, so this is prosthetic. For a while, kept my original eye, and they were trying to hope that some vision came back, but it wasn't working. It was causing a lot of problems, so I said, scoop it out, man, I gotta move on, and they sewed in a prosthetic. It's a pretty cool process, actually, but at the time, there was very few people in the world who had them, like a full prosthetic. It's not a glass eye, so it moves and all that sort of thing. Cameras, it's difficult with cameras, you know, because it doesn't track as well, kind of like a lazy eye, but it's an everyday thing, you know. Right. Think about it.
What's your favorite social media?
I'd say my favorite one is YouTube. Like for me personally, to just enjoy, to watch, probably YouTube. I like Instagram a lot. I spend the most time on Facebook because I think you have to. You know, with everybody's on Facebook. You know, you got to figure out what's going on, and for businesses like ours, it's important to kind of be keeping up on some of that.
What's the last time you had a blackout?
A blackout.
Like drinking blackout.
It's been a while. Yeah, so I would say, probably 8 years, maybe. Yeah, I'd say 8 years.
Most profitable job you ever did?
We've had a couple of good big commercial projects with the restoration company that have been really good. You know, I mean, I don't know if you're dollars and cents wise, if that's what you're digging at or whatever, but yeah, we had one where the profit on it was a little over 400,000. It was
nice. How long did it take you?
About 2 months.
How many websites do you need to build to make something similar?
A lot of websites, a lot. I don't even know how to quantify that.
Why do you do it then?
I love it. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I mean, trying to help other people grow their business, trying to help them succeed, getting into it I enjoy that.
You have 4 kids. Have you thought already what do you want them to be when they grow up?
I guess I haven't really thought about that. I mean, a little bit. I guess think about it a little bit in that, even just from a standpoint, do you hope they go to college or not? That's a big thing for me now. Is I think they can be really successful on some level without it. I think, but I don't know who they are quite yet. I don't know. Are they like me, or do they really just need that direct track to follow these rules and you'll make your 70,000 a year or whatever that is, or can they're going to be able to pave that road themselves? I don't 100% know. I think I got an idea, but I think no matter what they're doing, I hope they get the chance to get out and get as far away as they want to get and experience things. I was lucky enough to be able to do that, and I think bringing that back into my life did a lot for me. Being able to go and see other cultures. I was raised in a small town. I had no idea what was out there. I mean, a trip to Minneapolis was a big deal, and now you start talking about going to the other side of the world, and you learn a lot all by yourself.
As a business owner, what's your take on Trump and economy right now? Happy, not happy?
So I think he's a buffoon, you know, on a lot of levels. And I think that I can't, just like anybody, it's got like that Michael from The Office feeling, like, oh, why'd you say that? Like, I'm almost embarrassed for him. But then, you know, a lot of what he's saying, I do actually agree with a lot of it. I would have a lot of the same ideals that way, thoughts on things, right message, wrong vessel type of thing, you know, if we could get somebody else to do what he's doing. And I think as far as the economy, what's going on, I think it's good. You know, I don't know that ultimately any of us, anybody would be able to control what's going to ultimately happen. I think it's so dynamic in so many ways, and so many other countries play into that. But I like the fact that he's not really in anybody's pocket. He's not polished. I mean, he's a businessman. He's been, you think about, you know, for 3 decades or something like that. He's been like the iconic, if you were gonna, you know, who's the biggest businessman on Wall Street? Anybody in the world would say Donald Trump. So why would he be a polished politician that's always gonna say the right thing? He doesn't have to, he doesn't need to. That's not what got him where he is. He doesn't know how to do it that way. He's 70 years old, it's not gonna change now.
Give somebody advice who's just trying to go on their own in the roofing space. Maybe a contractor who about to start their roofing business for the first time.
Figure out what you bring to the table, the reason why you would go into it. So in other words, if you're gonna go into the roofing space because you're a salesman for another company right now, and you're really good at being a salesman, like you're the best salesman there, and that's what now just made you decide that you should go out on your own. Don't forget that part of it, even though there's so many other things that come with it. You have to know that those other things come with it. If you're the catalyst for the revenue, stay the catalyst for the revenue as long as you can. So oftentimes I see the reason a guy jumped in is because he was able to generate a lot of revenue. He's a really good salesman, but very quickly, because it's not always the easiest thing. Like even if you're a good salesman, it's still a lot of work, and people don't realize that. It's a hustle. Every single day you got to get up and go, well, those were yesterday's sales. I need today's sales still. I got to get up and go do that. That never ever ends. And so it's inviting to be able to go, well, I'm going to manage this, or I'm going to handle this, and I'll hire salesmen. Well, salesmen are really tricky to hire. And if you've already got one, you take your best salesman off the street, which is yourself. You know, it's not necessarily a very good thing.
How fast, in your opinion, somebody can become a millionaire if he decides to open a roofing company today?
In this industry, sure, 3 to 6 months if you really understand what's going on. If you've got some capital going into it and you hit the storm. What
if you start
right
from scratch? You have nothing.
Well, I mean, still, are you the salesman? You know, are you able to go out and generate that revenue? And you can if you hit the right storm. I mean, we watch it all the time. Guys do it, and it can get there really fast. The problem is they get there fast and they feel like they're going to be able to replicate that without the understanding of before this, you didn't have anything. So unless you can get another storm just like this, you got to prepare for a different situation.
Failure rate is huge in our industry. What it's, in your opinion, what's number one reason for failure for contractors?
Contractors using money that isn't theirs yet, and that gets them in trouble and starts a vicious cycle. And so they know that they've made a lot of sales, their bank account shows them that there's a lot of money there. They're not paying enough attention to their accounts payable in understanding that the profits will come with that as long as you were doing your part in the beginning from the standpoint of making sure that the jobs you accepted were going to be profitable. But even if you say they are, you know, outspending your cash flow gets them in trouble, and then you know, they're in that vicious cycle of robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it takes a toll on anybody. Whether they're able to gut it out or not, it's going to cripple them kind of moving forward.
What's your marketing budget in your company's percentage to your growth revenue? Is it 5%? Is it 10%? Is it 3%?
Yeah, so I kind of have a little model You know, 0 to $1 million, $1 million to $3 million, $3 million to $5 million, $5 million to $10 million is what I'd say. And so depending upon where you're at in that, you know, the higher it gets up, it should be a lower percentage, right, of your dollar amount, because you'd be more
How much
more efficient.
marketing
So,
dollars you spend yourself in 2017 between your brands, roughly?
between all brands, well, I think I don't look at it that way, but, you know, we're running right around 8 to 10%.
8 to 10%.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's like the average between all brands.
Sure.
But
So if your gross revenue is $1 million, you would spend $80,000 to $100,000 on marketing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I just kind of reverse engineer that to get there. You know what we have to spend in order to get there.
Thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you think about the topic today in comments below, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel.